Last weekend, Mcfarlane Toys had a panel at WonderCon where they revealed a bunch of new DC figures that are scheduled to release during the spring and summer period of this year. And it is looking to be a stacked period of new DC figure releases. Now, I know that this news is 6 days old now, but I still want to record this video just to share my thoughts on what I think about all these new DC figure reveals. And with that said, let's start with the first slide that they did show at the panel. And let's start with the Platinum Chase figure right here. And that is Green Lantern Jade. This is a character that I've been wanting to see in this line for quite some time now. And I'm very excited that this character is finally getting a figure. But I am very disappointed that it is a Platinum Chase variant. And the reason I say this is because I don't have the best of luck when it comes to finding Platinum Chase variants. So this is not a good thing for me because it's going to be a struggle to hunt for in the stores. Nevertheless, I'm still excited because, she is the daughter of Alan Scott Green Lantern. And if you do have the Alan Scott Green Lantern figure that was released back in the first wave of Collector Edition, this is definitely a duel that you have to complete. And yeah. And the next figure here is, of course, Batman 1 million, which is not a new reveal. This is just part of this list because he is coming out during the spring period. And this figure already went up for pre-order, I believe, like a week ago. I don't remember, but he's already up for pre-order. So, not a new figure. Yeah, there's that. And we got Classic Bizarro, which is quite surprising. So, this is the one time where I don't mind the reuse body buck of the Action Comics 1000 Superman, because back when they made the Rebirth Superman, they did make a DC Rebirth version of Bizarro. And those two pretty much paired well together because they use the same body buck. And, Bizarro is basically just another version of Superman from a different universe. So now, your Action Comics 1000 Superman can finally have a Bizarro version with the same body buck, and they can go well together for photos. So this is the one time where reuse is okay in my book. It doesn't really hurt. Now, yeah, this body buck is pretty outdated now because it's like a 5-year-old body buck for an action figure. But if you're trying to complete that specific version of the Superman and Bizarro sort of thing, this pretty much works in that case. So I'm very excited for this Classic Bizarro. And he does have a clothwire cape. And if you did get that recent Walmart exclusive version of Superman that was just a reissue version of the Action Comics 1000 Superman figure, he did have a clothwire cape. So you get that figure, you put it next to this Bizarro, they go good together on the shelf, in my opinion. So there is that option. And we got Cowboy Batman, which they revealed in their last Mcfarlane Toy Show live stream. And I'm kind of excited that he's coming out during the spring period because I am very curious to see what they give this figure in terms of accessories. I don't know if Cowboy Batman uses guns. I don't think he does because Batman with guns, Grim Knight Batman uses guns, but I don't know about Cowboy Batman. But he does have a trigger finger hand. So you could technically give him a gun if you want to. I am more excited for this figure because he has a very cool looking coat, and I think it might be removable. Because in the little video that they showed of this figure in that live stream, it looks like they're using the same material that they used to make the soft goods for, I believe it was Mr. Terrific and Captain Boomerang. So, yeah. So his coat might be removable. Very excited to see what they give him in terms of accessories. And we got Eradicator, which this is the version of Eradicator that I think everybody wanted ever since that original one came out. But this is kind of a disappointment to me because you could tell how lazy this figure is. So not only are they reusing the same body buck, the Effective Superman body buck, and this is the same exact sculpting that they use for the first version of Eradicator, it looks to me that the head sculpt that they used on that Eradicator, all they did was just repaint it. So instead of having, the colors that it did with that original version that they released a long time ago, they just repainted the head sculpt and just slapped it onto the same body buck again and just re-release his figure with the proper head sculpt color. Okay. So instead of like maybe trying to give him an updated body buck where he might look a little bit better, they didn't even bother to do that. They were like, you know what? Just slap it easily and just call it a day. So I don't know if I'm going to want to buy this figure at all, because since I do have the other version of Eradicator, honestly, I think I might as well just stick with that one, because this is literally just a head swap. That's all they did. Because this is not a render. These are all like finalized, I think, because these look like the actual figures themselves. Yeah, like this one is an actual figure. So if this is like the final figure, yeah, it is literally the most laziest sort of like, you can't even call it a repaint. It's literally, well, they just repainted the head, but I don't know what to say about this one. It just makes me question. It's like, wait, you could have done this before. Why now? You could have gave this version to us as the Walmart Gold Label exclusive back then. I don't know. I feel like this is like the most laziest figure that they slapped together. Like instead of giving them an updated body buck or something, they were just like, yeah, just slap this together and just call it a day. So, not a fan of this. I think I'll just stick with the Eradicator figure that I already have from before, which is in the same body buck and the same cape mold and everything. So, yeah. And then now, the last figure on this slide has me interested. Hal Jordan armor suit, also from the same source material, Return of Superman. I love Green Lantern, and, Hal Jordan wearing an armor suit, hey, that just makes it even cool. Now, the only thing I'm disappointed with is the fact that they are reusing the steel body buck for this figure. I don't know if they're going to fix the problems that the steel figure had with his legs not being able to kick out much at all. I don't think they ever fix these sort of problems, because this is just a repaint of that body buck. And from the hammer that he's holding, it is the same hammer. It's not even like a green color hammer. It is literally the same gray color hammer that came with the steel figure. So, since they are reusing that same body buck, from what I can tell here, I have a feeling this figure is going to have the same terrible leg articulation where he cannot kick his legs out too much at all, which I think is going to be a bummer. Now, if they did fix that problem and they made the waist part right here softer, maybe he might be able to kick out. Who knows? I don't know if they're reusing the same body buck entirely. Sometimes they do change the plastic quality even when they do reuse the body bucks. There have been a few cases of that, so who knows? But nevertheless, I do like the way that the colors look on this. I do like this bright green. It's very vibrant. And since it is a Green Lantern figure, and I do love Green Lanterns, that is definitely something that I need to pick up. So from this first slide, I think there's 3 figures here that I definitely want. Green Lantern Jade, Bizarro Classic, and of course the Hal Jordan armor suit. And then the other 3 figures, I guess, will really depend if I want them or not in the future. So there is slide number 1. Now on to slide number 2. These are now all renders. Like, these are not finalized. So I don't know what these will look like when they're finalized and shown in hand photos of with the figures. But let's start right away talking about the 2 Platinum Chase variants on this slide. So we got New 52 Superman, which I'm excited for. However, I hope this is one of those cases like what they did with the action... No, not action. It was the 1940s classic cartoon Superman figure. Back when they showed a render that they were like working on this Superman, they showed the Action Comics 1000 body buck, right? They went back and changed it to that newer body buck where they reused the Crisis on Infinite Earth Superman body buck. And that was like one of the best changes that they did, because honestly, if they reused the other body buck, it would have been such a lazy release and it would not look good at all. So this is one of those cases where I really hope they find like a body buck that can work for the new 52 Superman, because honestly, this Page Puncher body buck that they use for the Black Adam Wave Superman, I do not like this body buck at all. I don't think this is going to work for a new 52 Superman, and if it is a reuse of this body buck with the same pre-pose cape, it's not going to look good. Like, it's just going to look really freaking weird. And last I checked, this Superman is not that, skinny, muscular. Like, he's kind of bulky, right? He's like in that middle area where he's not too thick, but he's also not too skinny. So it's like, I don't think this particular body buck is like the right use for this particular version. So hopefully they do change that. So again, this is not finalized, so who knows what it will look like at the when it does come out, of course. And then let's move to this other Platinum Chase. And this is yet again another Platinum Chase figure that I want to find. And I think most of you out there would probably agree with me that this is probably the Cyborg Superman that everybody's been wanting in this line if you do collect DC Multiverse from Mcfarlane Toys. I don't know why they made this a Platinum Chase variant. I really do not understand the logic to this. It's like they could have made this anything else and people would buy it. Like, literally have ease of access to buy this figure. You chose to make it a Chase variant, making it even harder for many of us who want this version of Cyborg Superman to now get a copy of. Because when it is a Platinum Chase variant, it's limited in quantity, so that means that it's going to be hard to track down. This is the one time where I actually wish this figure was not a Chase variant. It was a collector edition. Simple. I would have paid full price for this freaking collector edition figure in a heartbeat. But I don't know why they chose to make this a freaking Platinum Chase. I don't know the logic to this. It's like, this is the Cyborg Superman that everybody's been wanting in this line. Look, I love the new 52 version. It was a very cool sculpt. It's very interesting looking, and I do have the figure. But in terms of, like, that classic appearance, this is the one that everybody's been, asking for. And I don't know what made them think that, yeah, let's make this a Platinum Chase. And then I don't know anyone who's happy with this decision. I think this is like the worst decision they have made when it comes to releasing a figure into a Platinum Chase variant, in my opinion. This should be a standard release. And hell, if it was a collector edition, I would pay for this like that. I wouldn't even care if it was a collector edition. This is like the one time where I'm like, you want to charge me $10 more? I don't care, because I want this figure. And now it's going to be even harder to find. And you know what will happen when this go up on, eBay and all those other, and Mercari. It's going to be double the price when people find find the platinum for this and sell it online. So it's not going to be a cheap thing to buy from, sellers if you don't find it in the stores. So not a good thing. Okay, and now let's talk about the three figures in the middle. I am very excited for Mr. Miracle. That is a character that I've been wanting to see in this line as well. And honestly, if he reuses that body buck from Red Tornado and Alan Scott, I think it works. I don't think it's like a bad body buck for Mr. Miracle. But, we'll see what they do. I'm curious if they will give him a claw-fired cape, or they're just going to reuse the same buck where they don't have to give him a claw-fired cape. And then we have Azrael from Night Quest, which I have never read the source material. Seems like it's going to be a repaint of the same Azrael figure that we did get recently from the Night's End version. So it's going to be in the black, gold, and red color. Very interesting. Hopefully the final figure will look better than this render. And in the middle here, we have Sandman. I don't know who this character is. This is not the Neil Gaiman Sandman that, that comic was also published by DC. But I don't think it's the same Sandman. I think this is a completely different character. He does look interesting, though. I do like the head sculpt. He's wearing like some sort of gas mask. So if you want to use this character for some sort of custom, definitely looking to be a good custom body buck for something. So there is this figure. And now on to slide number 3. This is the collector edition. And of course, Hawk Girl has already been revealed at Toy Fair. So, we know that she's coming out during summer of 2025. Very excited for this figure. And at Toy Fair, they did show this Mr. Terrific already. So, this is not a new reveal here. We knew that we were getting some sort of repaint Platinum Chase variant of Mr. Terrific, which is the second repaint. As for Red Lantern Guy Gardner, I don't know if this was revealed at Toy Fair. Maybe it was. I don't remember. But pretty cool to see that we are getting a Red Lantern Guy Gardner. Yeah, I'm very excited for this. However, again, Platinum Chase. So yeah, it's not going to be an easy thing to find. So that is another Platinum Chase on the list that I need to track down. And hopefully I will have better luck finding these this time around. Maybe. Don't know. Okay, and that's these 3 figures right here. So, 2 repaints, 1 brand new collector edition figure on the side that was already revealed before. I'm excited for these 2 figures, the Guy Gardner and the Hawk Girl. For Mr. Terrific, I prefer his regular version because those are the colors that I'm familiar with when it comes to his costume. Don't know much about this version, so yeah. And now, on to the very strange Superman figure we got here on this tail end of this slide here. Superman from Strange Lives of Superman. This is a very interesting looking figure. Now, I've said before, I love oddball designs. I call them oddball designs because they look wacky, they look weird. These are things that you would never think would ever get figures. But Mcfarlane tends to like taking some of these wacky designs and make them into figures sometimes. And this is one of those cases where we are seeing a very interesting looking Superman where he has a lion head and he has a lion hand. I don't know if he's wearing a mask or like he shapeshifts into a freaking lion. I don't know what's going on here, but this is a collector edition figure. And I'm very curious to see what he comes with in terms of accessories, because as you can see, the head sculpts are already very interesting looking. You got a regular, I guess, Superman head sculpt, and then you have, I don't know what this other head sculpt's supposed to be. Like, he has a big brain or something inside his head. I don't know what's going on with this figure, but nevertheless, very interesting choice for a collector edition figure. A very wacky Superman. But I like it. I really like the oddball stuff. So, yeah, definitely, probably one I will consider to have on the list. In terms of collector editions here, definitely need the Hawk Girl. And I guess Guy Gardner if I ever do find them in the stores. And, yeah, that is going to be slide number 3. And now, on to slide number 4, which is more collector edition. Apparently, these are all collector edition. And we got a lot here. A lot of new stuff here. This is crazy. So, we got Dark Archer, which finally, if you have a Green Arrow, you can finally have his arch nemesis, which is Dark Archer, aka Malcolm Merlin. And if these are all collector edition figures, as it's stated up here, man, they better give Dark Archer like a good amount of accessories in that box. And hopefully he turns out to be a really good figure too. Because that is one that I'm looking forward to. We got Dark Stars. Don't know who that is. Never heard of this character before. But this render of the figure design does give me hope that this figure is going to look very interesting in sculpt. He does look like he's reusing the, I think it was the Murder Machine body buck that they used for that Batman. Don't know if it's the same body buck, but yeah, definitely a figure that I might have to put on my radar if it turns out to look good. And yeah, hopefully the accessories he comes with are also pretty cool too, because he has a very interesting name, Dark Stars. And we also have Beast Boy, which I definitely need because I don't have the other Beast Boy that unfortunately was released back as a Walmart Gold Label exclusive. I was never able to find that in the stores, and for quite a long time now, the only Beast Boy that I have in my in my collection has always been the Titan Build Wave figure Beast Boy. So very excited for this Beast Boy figure, and seeming that this is also a collector edition as it's labeled in the slide. I wonder like what accessories they're gonna pack with him. Very curious about that. And we got Kite Man. Kite Man is awesome, man. I freaking love this character because of the Harley Quinn show. Like, I don't know much about the original depiction of the character, but I loved him in Harley Quinn. And I'm just excited we're getting a Kite Man figure. That is awesome. Like, we're getting a Kite Man. And I'm very curious to how they're doing the kite thing on his back. Like, is it going to be like soft plastic, or is it going to be like cloth goods? Or maybe not cloth goods, more like paper material or some kind to make it like feel like a real kite or something. Really curious to see how they sculpt the kite part on his back. So that's pretty cool. Getting a Kite Man, I'm excited for that. And then any one of you who's a Flash fan, like myself, we're finally getting a Mirror Master. And of course, he has to be a freaking Chase variant. How come it's always the characters that some of us want that ends up being the Platinum Chases, man? Like, what is this? Oh, that's not going to be a fun one to hunt for. And it's a collector edition Platinum Chase variant, too. So, yeah, that's not good. But nevertheless, we're finally getting Mirror Master. Which, does that complete the Rogues Gallery for Flash or no? No, it doesn't. We're still missing Twister, I think. No, there's probably still a few characters we're missing in terms of his Rogues Gallery, and I'm pretty sure Twister is one of them. I don't think... Yeah, Mcfarlane's never made a Twister figure, so... There's the Mirror Master, and then we're getting Metron. That's pretty cool. That's a character that maybe some of you might have never heard of, but if you ever watched Young Justice, or seen other depictions of Metron, there's like versions where Metron becomes... Anti-Monitor, and then there's versions where Metron is just, he's basically like a very intelligent character that just sits on his little Mobius chair and he just traverses across the universe. I don't know how else to describe this character. I don't remember much of the character's lore, but I know that the Mobius chair grants him knowledge. I think that's how it works because there's been other characters that have sat on that chair and gained quite a lot of information. So there's that. And then we're getting a classic Deathstroke. That is awesome. Hopefully he comes with weapons. Like, not just a sword. He comes with his gun and everything. Because, hey, they recently made a Deadshot figure. He has his little range weapons on his arms. So hopefully this Deathstroke classic version does get the, get his swords and also his guns. Because he looks like he has an ammo strap on. Yeah, that is an ammo strap on him. So that's going to be a cool figure to pick up for sure as well. Classic Deathstroke. And that is pretty much all the collector editions. And now, theatrical deluxe edition. So they're basically creating this new subline where they're calling them theatrical deluxe edition. This is the Batman Returns wave. This is the wave that, was apparently canceled or something. That was the rumor. And then now it's no longer canceled. It's happening. So we're finally getting basically the figures from this movie. So, of course, you got Keaton Batman. You got the Penguin. You got Catwoman. And you got Max Schreck. I don't remember who this character is. But, man, I'm excited for the Catwoman figure. I hope they do a good job with that figure. I don't know if I'm going to pick up this Batman figure because if it ends up becoming the same like the other Keaton Batmans they already released before, I don't see the point of buying another one. But if it's a little bit different in the costume, maybe I'll pick this up. I don't know how the sculpt is going to come out for this figure. So if it turns out to be the same thing, then, it is what it is. Penguin, I'm going to be honest, I've always been creeped out about the Penguin in this movie. Tim Burton just made him a very creepy character in this movie. And, I had nightmares as a kid when I watched this movie because, like, Penguin was just so grotesque in this one, but it does fit Tim Burton's style. So, as a director. So, but yeah, really cool to see these Batman Return figures happening now. And yeah, summer 2025. And they are going to be classified as theatrical deluxe editions. Interesting. Now, on to Page Punchers. Very interesting choices here. So, I missed out on the original Superboy figure that was released in his 90s sort of costume, I think. So, this is definitely a Superboy that I do need to pick up. And it's also from the same source material, Return of Superman. And yeah, pretty cool looking Superboy. We got Mr. Bones. I've never heard of this character before, so I have no clue who this is. But he's either a villain or a hero. I think he's a villain. He looks like a villain. So there's that figure. And then you got Wonder Woman, which is, I think, the classic depiction of Wonder Woman. I don't know what era this Wonder Woman is from. I think it is a classic version. So I think for Page Punchers, these two, Superboy and Wonder Woman, definite pickups if I had to buy another Page Puncher wave. And then for Mr. Bones, I guess it really depends if I know anything about this character or not. But he does look cool. So, and now we are on to the last slide, which is the Mcfarlane Toys Digital Wave. This is the next set of Mcfarlane Toy Digital figures. And we are getting another Batman from No Man's Land. Don't know what that source material is. Looks pretty interesting. And we are getting Stephanie Brown's Batgirl, which is a definite pickup for me because, I'm trying to complete the Bat family here. So you got to get every single Bat-related character. So nice to see that we're finally getting a Stephanie Brown Batgirl. And I think she's reusing the same body buck they use for Huntress. It looks like it might be the same body buck. So there is that. And we are getting Monarch. I do not know who Monarch is. So, yeah, not sure who that character is, but he looks interesting. Yeah. These are just renders, so it's really hard to say what they'll look like when they're finalized. And, of course, we are getting Nightwing from the Bronze Age. And I did not grow up with this, period of Nightwing's design, so this is not really meant for people like me. But if you do like the Bronze Age version of Nightwing, well, there you go. There's Nightwing from that era of comics. And that is pretty much it when it comes to all these new reveals. And there is a lot of figures here. There are a lot that I want. Some of them are going to be hard to track down. Some of them look cool. Don't know if I'll pick them up. It's a mix. But nevertheless, in the end, I'm just very excited for all these new DC figures. And hopefully some of the ones that I do want, I will be able to secure them. And for the ones that I might pick up in the future, hopefully I can secure them in the future as well. And this is not even the end of 2025 yet, okay? We still got that remaining half of 2025. And if you think this is a lot of DC figures that are being released in this period, man, this is going to get even crazier with the remaining half. I'm pretty sure there's more to come that is just going to burn our wallets. It's going to be painful this year. They are going all out this year because, that license thing that's happening in 2026, they're not stopping. They're going to keep on releasing new stuff every single month almost, or every single period, just to put everything out that they can. And it's not over. So, all right. If you found today's video fun and enjoyable, do give it a like. If you want to subscribe to the channel for more action figure content and whatever else I do on here, you can. You don't have to. In the end of the day, I make these videos for fun. And with that said, take care, and I will see you in the next video.